We live in a world where every moment carries countless opportunities. But sadly, most people don't realize it. They often believe they still have plenty of time, that tomorrow is always waiting, that if they don't act today, they can always act tomorrow. They believe that when they're motivated, when things are convenient, when conditions are just right, then they will begin. But they have no idea that this very hesitation is quietly stealing away their most precious opportunities, their dreams that could have been turned into reality. Every passing moment that we waste meaninglessly is a part of life lost forever. Time is the fairest asset the universe gives to all people. Everyone has only 24 hours a day, whether you're a billionaire or a worker, an artist or a farmer, a child or an elder. But it's how we use those hours that creates the enormous difference between an extraordinary life and an ordinary one. Money lost can be earned again, reputation lost can be rebuilt, health lost can sometimes be restored, but time, once lost, can never be reclaimed. And what makes time so cruel is that it slips away quietly. No one can hold on to it. No one can buy even a single extra second. In life, how many times have you told yourself, "Tomorrow I'll start learning a language. Tomorrow I'll begin exercising. Tomorrow I'll call my mom to say I love her. Tomorrow I'll apply for that new job. Tomorrow I'll change." But then tomorrow comes, and you tell yourself again, "Not yet. Let's wait a bit. Maybe another day." And so, tomorrow turns into tomorrow, and your dreams get buried under meaningless promises. Procrastination is not just about postponing tasks. It's the invisible thief of potential. It doesn't arrive with a loud bang. It doesn't knock on your door. It doesn't scream for your attention. It comes wrapped in gentle, reasonable whispers that lull you into thinking it's okay to delay. But when you let it take root in your mind, it turns you into someone timid, lazy, lacking courage and ambition. It makes you miss out on opportunities that could have made your life infinitely brighter. Successful people are not necessarily more talented. They simply take more action while others are still hesitating. Thomas Edison didn't succeed because he was smarter than everyone else. He succeeded because he tirelessly experimented thousands of times without fearing failure. Cornelius Vanderbilt didn't become a transportation legend because he had special advantages. He dared to dive into new fields when others hesitated. Elon Musk didn't wait for the world to be perfect. He began experimenting, stumbling, failing, and then getting up to move forward. Every passing moment, you face a choice. Move forward or stand still. Standing still may seem safe, but in reality, it's the most dangerous choice. Because when you stand still, the world doesn't stand still with you. Others are still running. The market is still evolving. Opportunities are still opening for those ready to seize them. When you stand still, you are falling behind. Behind your own potential, behind others who dare to take the next step. The scariest thing about procrastination is how perfectly disguised it is. It makes you believe you're just waiting for the right time, that you're just being cautious, that you need to prepare more thoroughly. But the truth is, you're locking yourself inside a golden cage called safety. No one feels scared when sitting still, but all progress begins at the moment we dare to act. If you don't step out of your comfort zone, if you don't dare to try at least once, you will never know what you're truly capable of. Motivation doesn't fall from the sky. It's created by action. Every small step, Every tiny success, every task you complete, no matter how small, brings you satisfaction, excitement, and these are the ingredients that nourish true motivation. Don't wait for inspiration to come before you start. Start and give inspiration a chance to find you. Remember, a 1,000-mile journey always begins with a single step. A great novel always begins with its first sentence. A legendary career always begins with one small decision. I will start now. Those who wait for perfection before acting will forever be stuck at the starting line, while those who are willing to start with what they have, even if it's incomplete, will steadily move toward the finish line. Learn to set deadlines for yourself. When you have a clear deadline, your brain will focus, reduce distractions, and channel all energy toward your goal. Don't just think, I will do it, but say, I will finish this by Friday. Don't vaguely think, I will exercise, but say, I will run for 15 minutes at 6 a.m. tomorrow. That clarity turns dreams into real actions, turns hope into commitment. Keep in mind that procrastination not only costs you time, it chips away at your self-trust. Every time you promise yourself something and then break that promise, your self-esteem erodes a little more. On the other hand, every time you act, complete a task, no matter how small, you strengthen your belief in yourself. Those small steps add up, and one day you'll look back and realize you've gone further than you ever imagined. Life doesn't wait. The opportunities you miss today won't stay waiting for you tomorrow. The market doesn't stand still waiting for you to finish your course. The person you love won't wait forever for your apology. Your health won't pause while you figure out how to change. Every moment you hesitate, the world around you is changing. And if you don't start, you'll always be the one standing outside the game. Time is the most precious currency. If every hour you lived was worth $1 million, would you dare waste it scrolling through social media, watching meaningless videos, or engaging in trivial gossip? Think of time as a limited asset, a budget you can never roll over to tomorrow. Spend it wisely. Don't fall into the trap of the safety illusion. The world belongs to those who dare to take risks, not to those who wait for perfect conditions. The stories of Carnegie, Vanderbilt, Hill, Edison, Musk all carry the same lesson. Don't wait. They didn't wait for the world to change before acting. They acted to change the world. If you're still unsure where to start, just do one simple thing. Write down the task you've been avoiding the longest and act on it right after you finish reading this. Whether it's making a phone call, sending an email, tidying up your workspace, or simply getting up for a 10-minute walk, do it now. Don't wait for the right time. Don't wait for perfection. That very action will mark the beginning of your new journey. Remember, if not now, then when? If not you, then who? You can choose to let your dreams come true, or let them forever remain just dreams. One small decision today can change the entire trajectory of your life. One small action today can open doors you never dared to imagine. Every passing second, you stand at a crossroads. Act or hesitate. Choose action. Choose to become the bravest, most determined, most dedicated version of yourself. Don't let your life become a story of regrets. Let it become the epic of someone who dared to begin, dared to fail, dared to learn, dared to persist, and ultimately dared to win. Don't wait. Start. Act. Do it now. In each of our lives, there exists an enemy without a face, without form, without sound. Yet, it is one of the most terrifying destroyers we will ever encounter: procrastination. Procrastination is not simply the act of postponing tasks. It is the silent thief of potential, the invisible bandit that steals your dreams, your ambitions, your opportunities, and ultimately, the life you could have lived. It doesn't knock at your door. It doesn't break in by force. It only needs to whisper, "You can do it tomorrow." And just like that, it has enough power to conquer even the most passionate soul. We often think procrastination is a harmless little thing, that if we don't do something today, we can just do it tomorrow. But it's precisely through those small delays that a habit is formed. Each time we step back, each time we delay a task, we are surrendering a piece of our inner strength. And when those delays stack up over time, they become a towering wall separating us from our dreams. One day, we look back and realize that our life has been quietly stolen, not by others, but by our own hesitation. Anyone who has ever felt regret over a missed opportunity knows how painful it can be. Opportunity is not like a bus you can catch on the next round. Every moment of hesitation is a closing door, and not every door opens again. The people who succeed in this world are not those who have never felt fear, but those who have acted in spite of it. They understand that if they don't do it now, if they don't start today, tomorrow might never come. We often hear the phrase, "Time is money." But the truth is, time is far more valuable than money. Money lost can be earned again. Reputation lost can be rebuilt. Health lost can sometimes be restored. But time, once it has slipped away, is gone forever. Every second you spend scrolling through social media, every moment you delay your dreams, every day you wait for the perfect moment that will never arrive, you are offering up your precious time to the thief named procrastination. And the cruelest part, time waits for no one. It does not care if you are rich or poor, talented or average. It slips away silently, carrying with it the chances you didn't dare to seize. Procrastination always wears the cloak of reason. It never announces itself as the destroyer of lives. It softly says, "You're tired. Rest a little. You don't need to do this yet. Tomorrow will be fine. Wait until you're inspired." It is a charming thief, whispering soothing words that put you at ease. But day by day, it drains your passion. It erodes your willpower. And slowly, it turns you into someone who once had beautiful dreams, but never brought them to life. Look at history, and you'll see that the people who left the biggest marks on the world all shared one trait. They acted. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, but he didn't sit around waiting for inspiration or perfect conditions. Andrew Carnegie, a poor immigrant boy, became the king of steel not because he was privileged, but because he never let tomorrow steal his chances. Cornelius Vanderbilt, Elon Musk, Henry Ford, all understood that potential only comes alive when it's transformed into action, and action is always the enemy of procrastination. In everyday life, procrastination robs us of more than we realize. It steals the moments we could have used to hug our parents, to say, "I love you," to apologize to someone we've hurt. It steals the years when we are young and strong, years we could have use to learn, to train, to build a career. It even steals our self-trust, because each time we break a promise to ourselves, we feel a little weaker, a little more powerless. The terrifying truth is that procrastination doesn't have to break in. We are the ones who invite it in. And the longer we let it stay, the better it becomes at making excuses. You need rest. You're not ready yet. Wait for the right mood. But here's the truth. No one ever starts when they're ready. People start while they're still scared, still incomplete, still doubtful, and it's through starting that they become strong, skilled, and confident. So how do we break this dangerous cycle? The secret lies in small actions. Don't wait for motivation. Before you act, and motivation will follow. When you start with one small thing, cleaning your desk, writing a single journal entry, running for 5 minutes, sending that important email, you trigger the inner machinery of momentum. Your body senses success. Your brain registers reward. And from there, a positive spiral begins. Those who understand the power of small actions will never again be enslaved by procrastination. Another way to overcome procrastination is to set clear deadlines. When you have a deadline, whether self-imposed or public, you turn vague ideas into concrete commitments. Try saying, "I will finish this report by 5 p.m. instead of, "I'll get to it soon." Try saying, "Tomorrow I will call Mom at 8 p.m. instead of, "When I have time, I'll call her." Deadlines don't just create positive pressure, they train you in discipline and responsibility. It's also crucial to forgive yourself. Don't let one failure become the excuse for many more. If you slip today, start again tomorrow. Each morning is a new chance, a fresh opportunity to prove that you are stronger than your old habits. To defeat procrastination, you must also change how you view failure. Many people don't procrastinate because they're lazy. They procrastinate because they're afraid. Afraid of failing, of being judged, of not meeting expectations. But the truth is, every great success is built on a mountain of small failures. No one runs a marathon on their first try. No one writes a masterpiece on their first draft. No one launches a successful company on their first idea. Learn to see failure as part of the journey, the price you pay for growth. Life doesn't wait. The market doesn't wait. The people you love don't wait. Your health, your youth, your passion, they don't wait. Every moment of hesitation is a piece of your life's puzzle you lose forever. Look to those who came before you, not to feel inferior, but to remind yourself that they too were once afraid, unsure, and imperfect. The only difference is, they chose to act. Imagine if every minute of your life was worth $1 million. Would you still waste it on trivial things? Imagine if tomorrow never came. Would you still delay today? Imagine meeting yourself 10 years from now. Would you regret the things you did or the things you never even tried? Life is not measured by the number of years you live, but by the number of moments you live fully, by the times you dared to begin, to test your limits, to transform. Each time you act, you send a message to the universe. I am ready to become a better version of myself. And when you repeat that action enough times, you don't just break free from procrastination. You unlock doors to possibilities you never imagined. Act. Start with the smallest thing. Don't wait for perfection. Don't wait for inspiration. Don't wait for the right time. And don't let past failures chain you down. Every day is a fresh start. Every moment of action is a blow against the thief named procrastination. If you remember one thing today, let it be this. Procrastination doesn't just steal your time. It steals the person you were meant to become. Don't let your dreams die in the silence of hesitation. Don't let your aspirations fall like autumn leaves. Don't let yourself look back one day and whisper, "I wish I had started sooner." You deserve a brilliant life, a life unshackled from fear, a life unburdened by the weight of procrastination. And that life begins, not tomorrow, not when you're ready, but right here, right now, in the moment you decide to say, I will no longer wait. Do it. Begin. Take those first steps, even if they are shaky, even if they are clumsy, even if they are imperfect. Because that very action, that very decision, will be the greatest turning point of your life. In the journey of life, none of us has been spared from the trap of procrastination. It is a sweet, seductive trap that whispers in our ear with a soothing voice. Just wait a little longer. There's no rush. I'll start tomorrow. When inspiration comes, I'll get to it. And just like that, we take tiny steps, slowly drifting away from the path we once set, drifting away from the dreams that once made our hearts race. We fail to realize that procrastination is not just a delay. It is a cunning thief, the silent bandit that robs us of the most precious thing we have, our potential. Procrastination does not rob us overnight. It works slowly, silently, creeping into every habit, every choice, every small moment when we let ourselves break a promise to our own heart. A missed workout, a page left unread, a word of love left unsaid, a dream left untouched. All of these pile up, brick by brick, until they form a wall separating us from the most radiant version of ourselves. So what is the key to breaking this vicious cycle? How can we stop drowning in the endless stream of "I'll do it tomorrow"? The answer does not lie in grand revolutions, nor in sudden bursts of fleeting motivation. It lies in small, steady, deliberate actions. It lies in the conscious choice we make at the moment we decide not to surrender to the sweet voice of procrastination. The first thing we must understand is this: action is the antidote to procrastination. Don't wait for motivation to show up before you act. Because, harsh as it may sound, motivation rarely comes first. It is born from the act of doing. The person waiting for inspiration will forever remain a dreamer, while the person who dares to pick up the pen, even when uncertain, will gradually become a writer. The person waiting to have more time to exercise will always just be someone who intends to be healthy, while the person who commits to 5 minutes today is already becoming someone who transforms. The next important step is learning to break goals into small, manageable pieces. Our brains hate vagueness. They fear giant, undefined goals. When you tell yourself, I need to finish this book, your mind panics. But when you say, I only need to write 1 page today, it exhales in relief. When you say, I must lose 10 kilograms, your body feels exhausted before you even begin. But when you say, today I will take a 10-minute walk, your legs feel lighter. Breaking big goals into small tasks isn't compromising with mediocrity. It's the strategy that leads you steadily into greatness. Another powerful tool to break the cycle of procrastination is setting clear deadlines. Without deadlines, everything remains just a floating dream. Deadlines turn ideas into commitments, transform maybe into must. Even better, share your deadlines with others, family, friends, colleagues. When someone else is watching, we're more likely to keep promises to ourselves because we fear losing credibility or disappointing them. Social accountability, when wisely used, can become a powerful motivator. To truly shatter the spiral of procrastination, we need to train discipline like a muscle. Disciplined people aren't people for whom things are always easy. They're just people who know how to do the right thing even when they don't feel like it. They understand that laziness, fatigue, frustration are like passing clouds, while their commitment is like the sky behind, vast, steady, and resilient. To build discipline, We can start with the smallest acts: waking up on time, making your bed each morning, writing a single thank you message, focusing for 25 minutes before taking a break. These seemingly trivial acts are the very first bricks in building the fortress of willpower. Of course, to break the cycle of procrastination, we must also learn to confront our fear of failure. Many people procrastinate not because they are lazy, but because they are afraid. Afraid of doing it badly, afraid of being criticized, afraid of shattering their own illusions. But here's the truth: not acting is the greatest failure of all. When we dare to start, even clumsily, even imperfectly, we are already ahead of millions of people who only dream, but never act. Success doesn't come from avoiding failure, but from failing enough to carve out our own formula. We must also recognize that time is a non-renewable asset. Money lost can be earned again. Health lost can sometimes be healed. Even broken relationships can sometimes be repaired. But time, once passed, is gone forever. Every moment we hesitate, we are handing over the most precious part of our life to the thief called procrastination. And the heartbreaking truth is, by the time we realize it, the thief has often taken too much. Here's a beautiful and painful truth: life does not wait. People will not wait for us to be ready. Opportunities will not wait for us to be skilled. Dreams will not wait for us to be perfect. They belong only to those who dare to step forward, dare to try, dare to act. Every moment we hesitate, we are surrendering victory to those who fear less and hesitate less. And if we stand still long enough, we will forever be spectators on the stage of our own lives. So, the final key to breaking the cycle of procrastination is to redefine our sense of self. Don't ask, "What should I do?" Ask, "Who do I want to become?" When we clearly define who we are, the persevering one, the disciplined one, the courageous one, our actions become easier because they are no longer obligations, but expressions of the person we are proud to be. Imagine the best version of yourself standing ahead of you, reaching out, smiling at you. That version is not perfect, not flawless, but they are the one who dared to live fully, dared to fail, dared to rise again. And you are only one step away from them. The first step. Don't wait. Don't overthink. Don't let your dreams die in the waiting room called someday. You don't have to change the world in a single day. You only need to win one small moment. The moment you say now instead of tomorrow. The moment you rise instead of staying still. The moment you begin instead of only contemplating. From these small moments, an extraordinary life will slowly take shape. Finally, remember this: no one is given extra time. No one is immune to the temptation of procrastination. The difference between those who live the life they dream of and those who only dream about that life lies in one simple thing: choice. The choice to act instead of delay. The choice to move forward instead of stand still. The choice to become the creator of one's own life rather than a victim of fear. Procrastination will always remain the silent thief of potential if we continue to invite it in, continue to let it stay. But with just one act, one moment of defiance, one refusal to listen to its whispers, the cycle will begin to crack. And from that tiny crack, a new door will open. The door to freedom, to growth, to a life where you will never again have to say, "If only." Begin today. Begin right now. Don't let procrastination steal one more minute of your life. Act. Be brave. Give yourself the chance to become the most radiant version of yourself. And believe this: every small step you take today, even if trembling, is already writing the heroic anthem of your life. If there's one struggle we all share, it's our battle with procrastination. Who among us hasn't said, "I'll start tomorrow. I'll do it when I'm free. When I feel inspired, I'll begin." But here's the truth. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck isn't intelligence or circumstances. It's how they break the cycle of delay. And to understand the key to that breakthrough, we must look at real stories of people just like us who faced procrastination, stumbled, stood up again, and ultimately won. Let's begin with the story of J.K. Rowling, author of the Harry Potter series. Before becoming one of the most celebrated writers in the world, Rowling was an unemployed single mother living on government support. She had dreamed of writing Harry Potter for years, but every time she sat down to write, fear crept in. Am I good enough? Who will read this? What if I fail? Procrastination was her daily companion, but one day she made a simple commitment to write 1 page a day, no matter how tired, uninspired, or uncertain she felt. Those small pages, written in quiet defiance of doubt, became the foundation of a global literary empire. Then there's Elon Musk. When he launched SpaceX, Musk wasn't a rocket scientist. He wasn't an aerospace engineer. But instead of waiting until he was qualified, he started learning, experimenting, failing, and learning again. SpaceX failed its first 3 rocket launches. The 4th launch was make or break. Had it failed, the company would have closed. But Musk didn't allow fear or hesitation to rule. He acted, not because he was certain of success, but because he understood that progress is only born from action. The key to breaking the cycle of procrastination, as these stories show us, lies in small, consistent actions. 1 page a day. 1 step forward. 1 lesson from failure. Success is not a sudden explosion. It's the accumulation of thousands of tiny choices made, while others are still waiting. Consider Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. Edison didn't invent it in a single stroke of genius. He failed thousands of times. Every time the bulb didn't work, he didn't see it as a failure, but as 1 step closer to the right solution. He once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Had Edison waited for inspiration or ideal circumstances, the light bulb might still be an idea. In sports, take Michael Jordan as an example. Before becoming a basketball legend, Jordan was cut from his high school team. But instead of giving up or waiting for better timing, he returned to the court. He practiced shot after shot, day after day. When others rested, he trained harder. He knew that talent can only take you so far. The rest is about discipline, about acting when no one is watching, about showing up when no one tells you to. So, what do we learn from these individuals? 1. They don't wait for inspiration. They generate inspiration through action. Rowling wrote without feeling inspired. Musk experimented without full certainty. Jordan trained when no one believed in him. They knew that inspiration doesn't lead to action. Action creates inspiration. 2. They break big goals into small steps. Rowling didn't write a book overnight. Musk didn't become an engineer in a month. Edison didn't invent in 1 sitting. They began with small, tangible actions. A single page, a small improvement, 1 shot at a time. 3. They built discipline, not dependence on motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. When you train yourself to do the right thing even when you don't feel like it, you're creating a life that's driven by commitment, not moods. 4. They embraced failure as part of the process. Everyone fears failure, but those who win are the ones who understand that failure is not the end. It's a lesson. Procrastination often disguises itself as fear of failure. Once you accept failure, you've broken one of its strongest chains. Beyond these famous stories, let's look at everyday heroes around us. There are single mothers who wake up at 4 a.m. every morning, prepare breakfast, work multiple jobs, and raise children alone. They don't have the luxury of waiting for the right time. They don't wait for ideal conditions. They don't need a cheerleader. They act, because if they don't show up today, there is no better tomorrow. There are language learners who started from scratch, committing just 15 minutes a day to a podcast, a new word, or a speaking practice. They didn't wait until they had money for a course. They turned their daily lives into a classroom. Years later, when others admire their fluency, few see the early struggle. There are people who began their fitness journey by walking for 5 minutes around their block. Day by day, they added 1 minute, 1 lap. 6 months later, they run 5 kilometers. A year later, they complete a marathon. No magic, just small actions repeated with persistence. So when you reach this part of the story, ask yourself, what small action can I start today? What is the first step that will help you escape your own cycle of delay? Don't look for grand answers. Sometimes it's as simple as turning off your phone for 30 minutes to work, waking up 10 minutes earlier, saying thank you, or finally replying to that one email you've been avoiding for weeks. Remember, no one is born ready to act. Everyone begins by taking one scary step they were afraid of yesterday. Every time you act, you're saying to procrastination, I see you, and I choose to move forward anyway. Every time you act, you're becoming the person your future self will be grateful for. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for perfect timing. Don't wait for someday. Act now. Understand this. Even one small action, repeated over time, can transform your entire life. In this life, there's one thing that's distributed to everyone with absolute fairness: time. No matter who you are, you're given the same 24 hours a day. Not a minute more, not a second less. The wealthy can't buy more of it. The poor aren't given any less. Time is the fairest gift life offers. But precisely because of this fairness, time is also the most ruthless asset. It waits for no one. It shows no mercy. It never turns back. And it gives no warning. When you hesitate, it keeps moving. When you're unsure, it quietly slips away. And by the time you realize it, it's often too late. Every moment of hesitation is a door that closes forever, an opportunity that vanishes without a trace. We often misunderstand procrastination as something harmless, as if postponing a task or waiting for the right moment is safe. But it's not. Procrastination is not merely a delay. It is the silent thief of your potential. The invisible hand that slowly suffocates your dreams before they ever come to life. You think you're just taking a break. But in reality, you're giving away parts of your ambition, your courage, and your vitality. Think about how many times you've said, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start later. I'm waiting to be ready. And how many of those things did you ever return to? How many moments could have changed your life? But you let them slip by because you were waiting for perfection. Here's the hard truth. Perfect timing doesn't exist. The good news? The key to breaking the cycle of procrastination is already in your hands. And that key is called action. Not grand, heroic, world-shifting action, but small, consistent steps taken every single day. Writing just one paragraph, learning a single new word, waking up 10 minutes earlier, choosing to say now instead of later. Let real stories wake you up. J.K. Rowling wrote the first Harry Potter book in a small cafe, living on welfare as a single mom. No one told her she had to write each day. There was no spark of divine motivation. There was just her decision to show up, to write one page at a time, while others were still waiting for inspiration. If she had delayed, hesitated, or let fear win, the world might never have known about the boy with the lightning scar. I once met a single mother named Duyan, who woke up 15 minutes earlier each morning to teach herself graphic design on an old smartphone. What started as a tiny curiosity turned into a thriving freelance career 2 years later. She told me, I had no money, no time, but I had 15 minutes and a dream. I chose to hold on to both. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to win once, right now. Win against laziness in the first 5 minutes. Win against hesitation in your very first action. Because once you begin, no matter how small, you've already struck the first match to burn down the fog of delay. Every action you take reclaims the future. From the thief called procrastination. Time doesn't favor anyone. It gives equally to all, but only those who know how to use it become truly rich. Wealth isn't about having more time. It's about turning time into action, action into progress, and progress into transformation. You don't need to wait. You just need to decide. Right now, no excuses, no hesitation. Even the tiniest step, writing 100 words, walking for 10 minutes, turning off your phone for half an hour to focus, saying the words you've held back, learning something new in just 15 minutes. Each of these is a declaration. I own my time. I refuse to let hesitation rob me of who I can become. Don't let today pass like yesterday. Don't let your future self be disappointed in who you were today. If you've ever said, I wish I had started sooner, then let today be the day that you never have to say it again. Begin. Because every moment you delay, someone else is taking action. Every minute you wait, the world changes without you. And every time you procrastinate, you're silently saying no to your own dream. You don't need to be the strongest. You only need to be someone who refuses to give up today. And tomorrow, you'll be amazed at how far you've come. All because of one small decision. Choose to act right now. Because if not now, then when? We often believe that motivation is the starting point of all change. That when inspiration strikes, we'll rise up, start exercising, begin writing a book, learn a new skill, and transform our lives. But day after day, we wait. Inspiration doesn't come. And life stays exactly the same. Here's the truth. Motivation doesn't come first. Action creates motivation. And not some big, life-changing action, but small, consistent habits, seemingly insignificant. But when repeated over time, they become powerful enough to move mountains. This is also how we defeat our greatest enemy, procrastination. In a world where time is distributed equally, yet as ruthless as a river that never stops flowing, those who know how to turn every minute into meaningful micro-actions are the true victors. Small habits, the most underestimated superpower. Writing 1 page a day might not make you an author overnight, but a year later, you'll have a book. 10 minutes of daily exercise won't get you fit in a week, but 6 months later, your body will change. Learning just 3 English phrases each night won't make you fluent immediately, but after 2 years, you'll speak with confidence. The key is not quantity. The key is consistency. The strength is not in intensity, it's in regularity. A small action is a seed. A habit is how you water it daily. Time, when you're patient, becomes the sunlight that allows it to grow and bloom. You don't lack motivation. You lack a simple, sustainable system of action. We often imagine success is born from big, bold moves. But if you observe closely, you'll see successful people are masters of small actions, repeated every single day. Bill Gates didn't become a billionaire overnight. He was the kid writing code alone while others were asleep. Serena Williams didn't win Wimbledon just because of talent. She was the girl perfecting every stroke before sunrise. A regular dad can build an extraordinary life by spending 15 minutes reading to his child, working out each morning, or learning one new thing every day. There is no luck, only habits that shape who you become. Time, a neutral friend, a merciless judge. Time doesn't pick sides, everyone gets 24 hours. But that's also why it's the most unforgiving judge. It doesn't care how much you dream. It only tracks what you've done with each minute it gave you. Someone who scrolls social media for 3 hours every night wastes 1,095 hours a year. Someone who learns for 30 minutes a day gains 182 hours of progress. The difference doesn't lie in brilliance. It lies in how we spend time through small, purposeful actions. Small action plus consistency plus time equals unstoppable results. Small habits are the antidote to procrastination. Procrastination isn't just a delay, it's a silent thief of potential, killing off dreams quietly before they mature. And small, daily habits are the strongest armor we have against it. You can't procrastinate a task that takes only 2 minutes. You can't make excuses when it's already part of your daily rhythm. And once you begin, your brain kicks in and creates its own motivation. Think about the last time you delayed something. The longer you thought, the harder it was to begin. But once you simply started, momentum followed. Action creates emotion. Emotion creates momentum. Momentum fuels progress. How to build small, consistent habits. Start. Extremely simple. 1 journal entry, 5 push-ups, 10 vocabulary words, 2 minutes of tidying your desk. Start so small, you can't say no. Anchor habits to existing triggers. After brushing your teeth, read 1 page. Before bed, reflect on 1 thing you learned. Right after making coffee, work 5 focused minutes. Repetition plus environmental cue equals sustainable habit checkmark. Don't break the chain. If you can't do it fully, do it partially. Even 1 rep is better than none. Habits don't need perfection, they need persistence. Track your progress. Mark your calendar. Log your feelings afterward. Seeing progress fuels continuation. You can begin a new chapter of your life with just 1 small action. Today. Want to write a book? Start with 1 paragraph. Want to learn English? Learn 1 word. Want to get fit? Walk for 5 minutes. Want to change your life? Clean your desk for 3 minutes. Those small steps, if done consistently, are the keys to doors you never thought you could open. You don't have to change the world today. You only need to be loyal to your tiny actions every day. Conclusion: true strength belongs to those who respect. Time and act, 1 small step at a time. Success doesn't belong to those who work harder in 1 day. It belongs to those who do a little every day. No drama, no excuses, no skipping. Small action is the seed, time is the soil, habit is the water, belief is the sunlight. You already have everything. Now just one thing remains. Start planting. And 1 year from now, when you look back, you'll see it was your small, steady actions that created a stronger, wiser, more resilient version of yourself. There's a subtle trap that many people fall into. A trap disguised as professionalism, responsibility, and ambition. Waiting until everything is perfect before taking action. In truth, it's not thorough preparation. It's intentional procrastination. We wait until we feel skilled enough, ready enough, perfect enough. But the truth is that enough never arrives. The journeys of successful people never begin with perfection. They begin with action, even the smallest, most awkward steps. In a world where time is the most equally distributed asset, but also the most ruthless, winners are not the ones who prepare the best, but the ones who act first. Because every moment of hesitation is an opportunity lost forever. Every minute you wait to feel ready is a minute you give away to someone else, someone who dared to start. We've all been there, writing and deleting because it doesn't feel good enough, coming up with ideas but not acting on them because they're not polished, making plans that never get executed. This isn't due to a lack of ability, it's fear of imperfection. Perfectionism is a beautiful mask for fear of failure. Worse yet, it steals your time, opportunities, and the potential you could have reached if only you had taken action. Imagine you want to learn a skill, playing guitar, writing, coding. But wait for the perfect time, the best materials, the ideal environment. While you wait, someone else, with fewer resources, has started. They practice with what they have, bit by bit, every day. 6 months later, they have a tangible result. A year later, they're skilled. And you? Still waiting for perfection to knock. The truth is, no one succeeds by preparing endlessly. They succeed because they started, made mistakes, improved, and kept going. Imperfection is inevitable at the start of any journey. Perfection isn't the condition to begin. It's the outcome of persistent action. Perfectionism and the price. It demands. Perfectionism creates unattainable standards. It makes you afraid to start, afraid of judgment, afraid of failure. But when you don't act, that's when you truly fail. Because opportunities don't knock twice. Ideas, if not acted on, remain forever imagined. And time, like a river, never flows backward. Waiting for perfection is like waiting for a calm sea before setting sail. You'll never leave the shore. The world doesn't need your perfection. It needs your start. Your courage to try something new, even if you're unsure or inexperienced. Only through action do you learn what books cannot teach. Only through doing do you grow. The power of small, consistent actions. So how do you overcome the paralysis of perfectionism? Start small, very small, so small that you have no reason to delay. One journal line, 5 minutes of morning study, a short self-recorded video, one email sent instead of saved in drafts. Small actions don't drain you. They give you the sense of beginning. And that's the first spark of momentum. Motivation doesn't come first. Motivation follows action. When you act, you realize you're capable. When you see progress, you want to keep going. One small action leads to another. Like taking one step sets the tone for the journey. Small, consistent habits are how you build endurance. Endurance isn't pushing your limits daily. It's the ability to return to action, even when you're tired, even after yesterday went wrong. It's a habit that overcomes fleeting emotions. It's your shield against long-term procrastination. Real stories that started imperfectly. Did you know the book Harry Potter was rejected by 12 publishers? If J.K. Rowling had waited for a perfect manuscript, she wouldn't have submitted it. If she gave up after one rejection, the world might never have known the boy with the lightning scar. Did you know many of today's top podcasts were first recorded with cheap microphones? Or that successful entrepreneurs started with messy, scribbled business plans? Take Neon Van Min, a young man from a small town with no money, no connections, no mentors. But Min had one habit. Every day he wrote a Facebook post about what he learned. At first, few read them. But after 300 posts, he was invited to speak at events. After 500, he launched his first online course. No one asked about his degree. They saw his actions. They saw his consistency. Action, not perfection, but repetition, became his identity. How to start without being paralyzed by perfectionism. Write down what you want to do. Don't keep it in your head. The first action is writing it down. Break it down until it's so simple you can't refuse. Instead of write a blog post, just write the opening paragraph. Act within the first 2 minutes. Don't wait for free time. Start in 2 minutes. The rest will follow. Remind yourself daily. Perfection won't bring success. Action will. Allow yourself to fail. Failure is information. Every subpar result is a lesson in disguise. Connecting to a greater value. Daily small actions are how you live in alignment with your values. If you say you love writing, write. If you care about health, exercise. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be consistent. Authenticity shows not in what we say, but in what we do repeatedly. And those small acts, day by day, write your identity, your career, your legacy. Conclusion. You can sit and plan your perfect version, or you can start, imperfectly, unready, but willing to move forward. You can wait until fear disappears. Or you can feel afraid and still do it. You can wait until the conditions are right, or you can trust that your actions will create those conditions. And if you choose to act, just a little every day, you'll not only defeat procrastination, but build endurance, awaken inner drive, and get closer to your dreams than any perfect plan ever could. Action matters more than perfection. And the day you understand that is the day you truly begin to live a life of progress, purpose, and meaning. We often believe that success comes from brilliant ideas, exceptional talent, or endless inspiration. But in reality, most great achievements are built on a different formula. Consistent action, supported by self-discipline, and driven by a system that makes inaction almost impossible. You may be smarter than others. You may have more resources. But if you can't force yourself to act, especially when you don't feel like it, you'll still fall behind those who move forward every day, rain or shine. In the early days, action may come from motivation, but in the long run, only a sustainable action system can carry you to the finish line. To build that system, you need 3 simple but powerful tools. Set personal deadlines. Create an accountability structure. Train your willpower like a muscle. Action matters more than perfection. But action must be sustained. One of the greatest traps that kill potential is not failure. It's procrastination, masked as perfectionism. You tell yourself you're waiting until you're ready. You've learned enough, or the time is right. But in truth, you're delaying. What happens next? Time slips by, opportunities vanish. Meanwhile, someone else, with less preparation, has started. and they already have results. You? Still waiting. Action doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be real. And to make action happen, especially without motivation, you must force yourself through intentional structure. Setting deadlines. Create artificial pressure to defeat real delay. Tasks without deadlines are delayed endlessly. So many people dream of writing a book but never get past the first page. Not because they can't write, but because they never set a clear must-finish date. Personal deadlines are self-imposed constraints that create commitment. A real deadline isn't vague like sometime this week or when I have time. It's specific and urgent. I'll finish chapter 1 by 10 p.m. this Saturday. I'll publish the blog post by 9 a.m. Monday. I'll submit the presentation by 8 p.m. tomorrow. Deadlines trigger your brain to treat the task as a priority. It brings focus and forces momentum. But if you tell yourself, I'll do it eventually means never. Accountability systems. You perform better when someone's watching. Here's a fact. We fear public failure more than personal disappointment. And you can use this to your advantage. When someone else knows what you've committed to and will follow up, your completion rate skyrockets. Research shows people are 65 to 95% more likely to finish when held accountable. Here's how to set up your accountability system. Share your goals publicly. Social media, friends, group chats. Partner with someone to check in weekly. Hire a mentor or coach. Set consequences, e.g., send money to a cause you hate if you fail. The key isn't punishment, it's creating positive pressure. It's knowing that someone will ask, "Did you follow through?" That alone can ignite your action. Train willpower like a muscle. Because it's not a trait, it's a practice. Willpower isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. Every time you do the right thing, even when you don't want to, you're strengthening your mental muscles. And over time, you form a behavioral blueprint that makes the right actions easier and automatic. For example, you hate waking up early, but force yourself 5 times a week. The first week is hard. By the second, it's easier. A month in, it's a habit. You fear cold calls, but push through 1 a day. After 30 calls, you're no longer scared. Willpower is like your biceps. If you don't train it, it weakens. If you train it, it serves you for life. Repeated actions. Define identity. Behavior shapes who you become. You don't become disciplined by wanting to be disciplined. You become disciplined by doing what you said you would do, even when it's hard. You're not a writer because you say you love writing. You're a writer because you write every day, regardless of inspiration, fear, or flaws. When you repeat actions long enough, you're not just forming habits, you're shaping your identity. A true story. From zero to relentless consistency. Hi, a friend I know used to procrastinate everything. He hated exercise, missed goals, and quit easily. One day, he challenged himself to do just 5 push-ups every morning. After 3 weeks, it became 10. 2 months later, he started jogging. 6 months in, he studied for IELTS, applied for scholarships. A year later, he told me, "I don't know when it happened, but I've become someone who keeps promises to himself." His transformation didn't come from reading another book. It started with one tiny action, repeated daily. Conclusion: systems greater than motivation. Deadlines greater than ideas. Action: perfection. Set deadlines for anything you truly want to achieve. Build accountability so you can't escape quietly. Train your willpower like you train a physical muscle. And above all, Remember, you don't need to be perfect to start, but you must start to become better each day. Don't wait any longer. Set your limits. Create intentional pressure. Make action your default. Because if you don't train yourself today, you'll keep nurturing the procrastination of tomorrow. And if you want to win, it's not talent or plans. It's a consistent system of action that guarantees progress. On the journey of personal growth, many people confuse preparation with procrastination, desire with execution, and imagined perfection with real progress. The greatest difference between those who move forward and those who stay stuck isn't talent, resources, or luck. It lies in something deceptively simple: the courage to start and the discipline to keep moving even when it's hard. We don't need to wait for motivation to begin. In fact, it's action that creates motivation, not the other way around. Every time you break through procrastination, you're training your brain to build a new response. Rather than waiting for inspiration, you take a small step and let the energy follow. Procrastination isn't just delaying a task. It's a slow erosion of potential. It steals opportunity, one hesitation at a time. And what makes it dangerous is its disguise. It often sounds like wisdom. I'm not ready yet. I'll do it tomorrow. I want it to be perfect. Over time, these delays shape a version of you that's less than what you could be. The solution isn't doing more in one burst. It's doing a little, consistently on purpose. One small action won't change your life today, but if repeated daily, it will change you, and you'll be the one who changes your life. When you act consistently, you build endurance. Endurance doesn't come from heroic effort. It comes from ordinary effort done with extraordinary consistency. You don't need to change the world each morning. You just need to win the battle against your own resistance that day. Success doesn't start with perfection. It starts with willingness to act without it. Because action always matters more than perfect plans. In the real world, done always beats ideal. If you truly want change, you need more than goals in your head. You need a system, a structure that forces you to act even when you don't feel like it. That means setting clear deadlines you can't ignore. That means building accountability so someone will ask if you followed through. That means treating your willpower like a muscle, strengthened through daily reps, not random bursts. The more you act, the more your identity evolves. You're not who you wish to be. You are who you consistently show up as. Every action you repeat is a vote for the person you're becoming. Look at the people who've transformed their lives. From unfit to athletes, from socially anxious to public speakers, from chronic procrastinators to productive creators, the one thing they all have in common isn't natural ability. It's that they showed up again and again in small ways that added up over time. If you're waiting for the perfect moment, remember, it doesn't exist. It is created through today's imperfect steps. No one wakes up with a flawless life. They build it, brick by brick, starting exactly where they are. Action makes you stronger. Discipline removes the burden of starting over. Systems help you move, even when motivation disappears. And when all three come together, action, discipline, systems, you no longer rely on feelings. You rely on who you've trained yourself to be. You don't need to be perfect to begin. But you do need to begin to become someone you're proud of. Every small action you take today is a declaration. I will not postpone my future another day.